Good evening to one and all. Welcome you all to the Daily Indian Express newspaper analysis for the date 29th as well as 30th March 2024, brought to you by Ganesh IAS Academy. Let's get into the today's newspaper analysis. Mentioned here are the list of articles which we are going to have the analysis in the upcoming slides. So have a look into it. So these are all the articles which we are going to have the analysis in the upcoming slides. So let's analyze every article one by one. Why November-December temperature may decide the RABI output? So because of the global warming as well as the climate changes related stuffs, there has been impact on the RABI output. So what kind of impact does it creates? So let's look into while we are analyzing the upcoming slides. Before that, let's look into the linkage of the news with the examination. Under prelims, the news is related to economic and social development. Similarly, under mains, through a major topic called agriculture, that which comes under GS paper 3, under which a subtopic called major cropping patterns in various part of the countries, different types of irrigations and irrigation systems, storage, etc. So these are all the topics through which the news has been related with the examination. Okay, let's look into the analysis part of the news. So in recent times, wheat has often been hit by the spike in temperature in March, just when the crop is in the final stages of formation as well as the filling stage. So in the current crop season, maximum temperature have so far been near normal in much of the northwestern as well as the eastern part of the India, with more than half the grain filling period, which is 30 to 40 days of the kernels, which will be accumulating starch, protein as well as other nutrient matter during that period of time. The major, which is the major wheat growing regions and the crop already in the major wheat growing regions, the crop are already or near harvested, which is in the central India. Then the chances of yield has been lost because of the rapid rises of temperature. The crop expression has been overall excellent in Punjab, Haryana as well as UP and Bihar region, which is in northwestern as well as the eastern part of the country. So we could able to see there is a drastic decline in the wheat production in central India because of the rapid rise of temperature. Because during this period, that is during the period of 30th to 40th day, there will be the accumulation of starch as well as the protein will be growing in the wheat kernels, which gets affected because of the rise in temperature. So less than the cold start. So there is an impact of the late onset of the winter on the crop. How it is having the impact? Let's look into it. So monthly average minimum temperature over central India is 1.67 degrees Celsius as well as 2.12 degrees Celsius in November, which is high above than the normal during the November as well as the December month. This has led to premature initiation of flowering, that is the crop where the period during the crop or the initiation of flowers where the earbuds bearing flowers would be taking around 75 to 80 days, but in normal times it will be taking around 75 to 80 days, but because of the increased temperature or the above normal temperature, it is taking around 60 to 70 days, that is early initiation of flowering. So in central India, wheat is sowed from last week of October to mid-November, earlier than the first half of the November in the northwestern India as well as the mid-November to mid-December in the eastern part of the country, that is in UP as well as Bihar. The delayed winter have affected the crop that has been sown earlier, that is in central India, which is between the last week of October to mid-November, that is cutting short its vegetative growth phase because of the late onset of the winter. So the impact would have been more in central India because this is the region where the crops have been harvested or planted earlier, where the crops growth duration is 125 to 130 days compared to the 140 to 145 days in Punjab as well as Haryana. While the winter, so this is this is the impact of increased temperature, while the winter which is setting later than the expected, it has some impact. That is, the crops in central India suffered due to fog as well as a lack of sunlight in January. So after having flowered earlier because of increased temperature, the wheat now recorded poor pollination because after flowering the winter will be setting as a result of increased fog as well as lack of sunlight, and then the related atmospheric stuff. The crop plant has recorded a poor pollination as well as this poor seed setting. So there has been reduction in the numbers of tillers per plant as well as the seeds that has been formed per spike, which may be in turn will be translating into lower productivity or lower production of the wheat in the central India. So this is what the impact the increased temperature as well as the late onset of the winter that is creating on the RABI output, particularly the wheat output. So production effect of the total 34.2 million hectare areas under wheat in India, that is during 2023-24 RABI season, Madhya Pradesh accounted for 8.7 million hectares, with Gujarat, Maharashtra together adding 2.3 million hectares. If the lower yield from the central India is going to continue because of the increased temperature during October and November, December month, as well as the increased the fog as well as the related cold events that is happening in the January and February month, it will have an impact on the central Indian crop output, most importantly the wheat output. But during this period, the northwestern as well as eastern part of the countries are doing good in terms of wheat output, which will be offsetting the negative things that has been happening in the central India. So the country can still end up in producing more, as I said, even though the increased temperature as well as the late onset of the winter is having impact on the central India. The northwestern part of India as well as the eastern part of India will be compensating for the loss that is going to arise because of the climate change as well as the global warming stuff in the central India. So if the climate related thing is been happening only for wheat, no, it is not only for wheat but also for the tuber crops. So the potato has been affected by the unusually warm November followed by the cold sunless January. So what farmers are saying from this region, that is from the central region, is that the potato requires sufficiently low temperature during the planting from mid October to the mid November, so that it will have a qualitative vegetative growth. Even when the temperature fell in January, there were no sunlight, thus not only, which in turn will be having impact on the tuber crops productivity, because during that time there will be no sunlight will be falling on the ground because of the increased fog as well as the cold temperature related stuff. So which in turn will be having a huge impact on the photosynthesis of the tuber plants, as a result of which the tuber crops output will get reduced. And one sweet story, that is, there is a good news with regards to the sugarcane production. The last sugar year, that is the sugar year is calculated from October to September, ended with stock of 5.7 million tons, the lowest since 2016-17 period. The current year is likely to see a production decline and a yet closing stocks recovering to 4 years high of 8.6 metric ton. So there is going to be increased stocks that is this year sugarcane year is going to end with the increased amount of stocks because of production. So this is what the thing with regards to the sugarcane production is about. So overall, there is a impact on the climate change related stuff on the increased temperature as well as the cold winters that is going to have the impact on the RABI output. So this is what the thing with regards to the climate change as well as the increased temperature effect on the RABI output. So what need to be studied for this we should be aware of. So what is RABI, what is kharif crop, what are all the different types of crops coming under it. Secondly, we should also be aware of what is fair price as well as the minimum selling price. Secondly, we should also be aware of the PDS system in India, how it functions, what are all the LAKH involved in it, and what are all the way forward we can give with regards to the LAKH. So these are all the things which we needed to be further aware of. So with this, we have reached the end of this session, this topic. Carrying cash during election season, what the election commission rules say. So the news is related to the cash that has been carried during the election times. So what regulation the election rules have. So this is what the thing which we are going to analyze in the upcoming slides. Before that, let's look into the relation of the news with the examination. Under prelims, the news was related to Indian polity, governance, constitution, political system. Similarly, under mains, it has been related with GS paper 2 through a subtopic, through a major topic called polity, under which a subtopic called appointment to constitutional posts, powers, functions, responsibilities of various constitutional bodies. So this is how the news has been related with examination. Let's look into the details or the explanation part of the news. So how does the election commission deals with the money power during the election? See, the election commission caps the campaign expenditure at 95 lakhs per constituency if it is a bigger state, and 75 lakhs per constituency if it is a smaller state. To ensure that the campaign does not exceed this limit, the election commission prior to every election will be issuing detailed instruction to police department, railways, airports, IT department and other enforcement agencies in India. So does election commission have the dedicated officers to tackle the issue? The election commission will be appoint the expenditure observer for every district alongside the static surveillance team as well as the flying squad. The teams are headed by senior executive magistrate and they will be comprising a senior police officer, videographer and 3 to 4 armed police personnel. So the surveillance team will be putting up a check post on roads and are supposed to videograph the entire checking process. The final 72 hours before the polling sees the enhanced enforcement. So increased level of enforcement will be seen before the 72 hours of the polling. So what are the rules for carrying cash as well as other items? Authorities are supposed to instantly report the IT department if the cash that has been carried by the person is worth above than 10 lakh or 1 kg in bullion. The cash or bullion can be seized till verification is complete in order to ensure that it is not related to any other political expenses. If a vehicle carrying a candidate, her agent or the party worker is found with over 50,000 in cash, drugs, liquor, arms, gift items worth more than 10,000, then the items will be instantly seized. So if during checking there is any suspicion of a crime, the seizure will be done under CRPC. So when it comes to carrying liquor across the state borders, the excise laws of the respective states will be applied with regards to the transport of the liquor from one state to another state. So what happens after the seizure? If the cash or any other thing that has been seized means what will be happening next? In case any cash or other item that has been seized by the officials means it will be returned to the concerned person only after the district level committee gives its decision. If the decision is against the seizure means then what are all the products that has been taken by the officials from the common people will be given to them. If the seizure is been if the district level committee is giving a go ahead with the seizure means then it will not be returned and the other punishment will be following to the citizen, those who have carried the cash. The committee comprising the district level, so the committee will be comprising of district election office, nodal officer for expenditure monitoring and the district treasury officer, and they shall suo motu examine each case of seizure where no FIR or complaint has been filed. So they are having suo motu power. So this is what the thing with regards to the happenings after the seizure has happened. So what need to be studied for this? We should be aware of the model code of conduct, the Election Commission of India structure, function as well as the LAKH it has, and what are all the constitutional backup it has as well as any other the statutory backup it has. Thirdly, we should also be aware of the parliamentary democracy features of India. So these are all the things which we needed to be further aware of, and with this we have reached the end of this topic. Bank credit to industries rises 8.6% in February, RBI data says. So the bank credit to the industry has been raised in the February month. This is what the data is given by the RBI is about. Let's look into the linkage of the news with the examination. Under prelims, the news is related to economic and social development. Similarly, under mains, it has been related with major topic called economic development. Under which a subtopic called Indian economy and issues relating to planning, mobilization of resource, growth, development and employment. This is how the news has been related with examination. So bank credit to industry has grew by 8.6% year on year in February, mainly due to accelerated phase of borrowing by sectors like infrastructure, textiles. The RBI has released. Credit growth to agriculture as well as the allied activities has remained robust at 20.1% in February when compared to 15% a year ago. So data on sectoral deployment, that is what are the sectors the bank credits have been given is 40. It has been 95% of total non-food credit has been deployed by all the lenders. That is the 95% of the credit has been given to the non-food credit, non-food industries, and the credit to industries has grew by 8.6 in the February in 2024 when compared to the 6.8% in the February 2033. That is the same month of the previous year. So what advantage the bank credit to the industry is having in an economy is that it will increase the liquidity for expenditure by the industries. Secondly, it will ensure that there will be increased employment. Thirdly, increased revenue because of the increased production as well as the increased employment. The increased tax revenues will be made to the government. Thirdly, it will because of the increased tax revenue, there will be reduced deficit for the government because they will be financing from the tax revenue itself as apart from borrowing from other sources. So increased economic growth. This in turn will be leading to increased economic growth. So this is what advantage the increased credit will have in an economy. So what disadvantage it will have is less level of, if the credit is given to the industry is below than the expectation level, means it will have an negative impact on the economy. So what negative impact it will have is less level of expenditure will be made by the industries, lower employment will be happening, which in turn will be leading to lower economic growth. So this is what the negative things that will be happening because of the decreased bank credit. So what are the things which we needed to be further aware of is, we should be aware of revenue as well as capital expenditure, types of deficit, what is bank as well as what is non-bank financing companies about. So these are all the things which we needed to be further aware of, and with this we have reached the end of this topic. Procurement through government e-marketplace at over 4 lakh crore this year. So this year the government e-marketplace has recorded a 4 lakh crore, which is increased from the previous year. So this is what the news is about. Let's look into what is the news is about, what is government e-marketplace, what is the feature of it, what is the significance of it in the upcoming slides. Before that, let's look into the linkage of the news with the examination. Under prelims, the news is related to economic and social development. Similarly, under mains, it has been related with major topic called economic development through a subtopic called Indian economy and issues relating to planning, mobilization of resource, growth, development and employment. So this is how the news has been related with examination. So the procurement of goods and service through the government e-marketplace has doubled to over 4 lakh crore this fiscal. The procurement of service from the government e-market has jumped from 66,000 crore in 2022-23 to 2.05 lakh crore with goods worth 1.9 lakh crore have been bought from through the e-marketplace from the MSMEs. It aimed at bringing transparency as well as accountability and then competitiveness in terms of procurement from the MSMEs. The government e-market portal was launched in 2016 for online purchases in goods and services in central ministries as well as the departments. With over 63,000 government buyer organizations and over 6.2 million sellers as well as service providers offering a wide range of products and service, government e-marketplace is among the world's largest platform, third after the South Korea's KONEPS and Singapore's GEBIS. Currently, government departments, ministries, public sector units, state government and central armed police force are allowed to carry out transaction through this portal. In current fiscal, the state and union territories like UP, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Delhi, Madhya Pradesh, Jammu Kashmir, Odisha, Bihar, Assam, Uttarakhand have placed significant orders through the government e-marketplace. So what is the features of government e-marketplaces? See, GEM is a complete paperless, cashless system driven e-marketplace that enables the procurement of common use goods and service with minimal human interface. And it brings an open platform. The GEM offers no entry barriers to bona fide suppliers who wish to do business with the government. Thirdly, the seamless process and online time-bound payment has given confidence to the vendors, which in turn has reduced the administrative red tapeism. So this is what the feature is. It has significance is advantage of MSMEs over the foreign suppliers because of the transparency over the procurement of government e-marketplace. Secondly, it ensures it plugs the leakages in terms of procurement, thereby saving the public money. These are all the significance it has. So what are the things which we needed to be further aware of? We should be aware of. So what is MSME? What are the criteria being involved to classify a particular organization as an micro, small, medium as well as large enterprise, and what are the MSME development scheme being implemented by government? And thirdly, we should also be aware of the impact of digital technology on MSME. So these are all the things which we needed to be further aware of, and with this we have reached the end of this topic. Let's move on to today's practice prelims question. Mentioned here is the today's practice prelims question. So those students, those who are watching this session online, please do comment the option point for the question which you are seeing right now on the board. So with this, we have reached the end of today's session. Please do like, comment, share as well as subscribe Ganesh IS YouTube channel so that you will be receiving daily current affairs session notification and also weekly environmental as well as science and tech related notification, and also any other important UPSC Prelims 24 related notification that will be brought to you by Ganesh IS Academy. Thank you.